It is incredible that these antiretrovirals probably crossed 5 or 6 different borders between where they came from and where they ended up, right under the noses of customs officials, police, and various other law enforcement agencies. Connections because it's absolutely incredible. We have Zambian businessmen, South African businessmen, Swiss businessmen, and German businessmen all involved in this scam.
Where was the first suspicion raised?
Somebody in Germany picked up their prescription antiretrovirals from the pharmacy and noticed that the blisters in the pack were incomplete. Some of the blisters had capsules in them, others didn't. And of course that was highly irregular, so he reported it to the pharmacy. And the pharmacy reported it to the medical manufacturer of that, who immediately suspected that this was a counterfeit batch and reported it to the police in Germany.
Why have we not seen these people prosecuted?
The reason why this has not been prosecuted in South Africa is because the Medicines Control Council is a small and underfunded body with just a few investigators who have to keep an eye on, you can imagine, thousands of different pharmaceutical products all around the country. The other thing is that the MCC does not have a prosecutorial function, so it can gather evidence, but it then has to hand this over to the police. And why this case fell through the cracks in South Africa, it would appear, is because the police, for whatever reason, failed to investigate, question, and secure convictions against the entire network of individuals involved.
How much do you think we know of what actually happened?
This is tip of the iceberg stuff. This is very likely still happening now. Maybe not the same people involved, but the counterfeiting and smuggling of pharmaceuticals, because it is so highly lucrative and so difficult to police, and because law enforcement agencies all over the world struggle with this kind of specialized illicit crime. The Swiss took nearly 10 years of investigating to even get this far. It would suggest to me that it is widespread and it is ongoing.
Why Africa?
The economic incentives here mean that antiretrovirals in Africa are subsidized and therefore cheaply available, whereas in Europe and the West they are sold at full retail price. And Southern African pharmaceuticals, antiretrovirals in this instance, were sourced simply because of the wide profit margins involved. You get it for next to nothing in Africa and you can sell it for many hundreds of euros in Europe.
So, if I understand correctly, it was packaged in South Africa. The repackaging happened in South Africa and that product was moved.
The South Africans would order a single pack of the antiretroviral in Germany or whatever European country it was going to end up in. So for the price of one single pack, they would get everything they needed: the outer box, the inner label, the blister pack, etc. They then knocked off hundreds of copies of this and placed capsules of antiretrovirals from God knows where, but certainly not legit and certainly not part of the controlled supply chain, into these blister packs, packaged them all up nicely and sent it off. And that way, when it arrived in Europe, it looked exactly like legitimate stock. And that's how, without too many people asking too many questions, it ended up on pharmacy shelves in somewhere like Germany.